The cold fact is, whether we like it or not, whether it is convenient or not, the UAP reality is here. And by the way, nuclear weapons are our own inventive way we use to terminate one war. It is also a way that we could be used for the complete annihilation of humanity and other life on Earth. In my opinion, just my opinion, UFOs are simply reminding us that we should seriously try to eliminate these weapons.
That was from this amazing press conference that Bob Salas did with this other group of ex-officers. So what the fuck was my response to this? That is my response. This is the 5th time. Bob Salas said this is the 5th time he's done this press conference with these just amazing testimonies from these people. Are we just not going to trust our missileers? You know, we trusted these guys, by the way. We trusted them, as Americans anyway, to sit in silos with nuclear launch codes. I'm not an expert in nuclear launches, okay? But I know these guys were mentally and physically prepared. They studied very hard to actually launch the nuclear missiles, to launch nuclear missiles. These are these guys we trusted more than anyone else, I would argue, or at least as much as anyone else in our government. We trusted these people. And yet now, Bob Salas, who's done an amazing service, I think, for all of us, has been focused on this, investigating this, and releasing these just conference after conference. He says in this amazing video, here it is. This is on his website. So Bob Salas, his YouTube channel, doesn't have a lot of videos, but this one, 2 hours, it's long, but man, it is just unbelievable. There's so much information in here. So for this video, I'll just give a basic rough overview of this press conference that he released. I watched through the whole thing. It's just an amazing, mind-blowing conference. The information in there has been presented before. Okay, so I was blown away, but I guess people in the UAP community, UFO community have already known about these cases. But when are we going to actually believe these people, right? So when I believe Bob Salas. I believe Bob Salas. You know who I don't believe? The fucking government, right? The government, the Air Force. Where is the Air Force? Honestly, the Air Force, man, looks so guilty. You guys look so guilty. And that, you know, the whole thing is the Air Force core values. Okay, we have 3 core values in the Air Force: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Okay, that's beaten into us from day one, right? First day you show up, integrity first. Okay, integrity comes first. Because the argument is, without integrity, without honor, then we cannot faithfully discharge our duties to the American people. If you're lying to the American people, how can you also be serving them? How can you be serving the American people? And I'm talking to the people in power right now, the generals, Air Force generals, who beat into me in the mud, laying in the ground, yelling at when I'm exhausted, tired. You know, make your sacrifice. But you know what? It's about integrity. Integrity first. That's what it was always about. And what do I see now is our government's just lying to us. How much longer are you going to lie to us, Air Force? And I'm talking to the generals. This is for you guys. You guys who said integrity first, and you got all the way to the top, all the way to the top. How did you get there to the top? Was it through integrity first? Is that really what you cared about? Is that really what you cared about? Or our government has been completely compromised. Okay, because why is this information not getting out? You have, what is this, five missileer officers saying that they saw actual UAP, they saw physical evidence of UAPs, and no response. And we look now, the Air Force has dragged its feet on everything. Everything. They haven't released any information. They've released no videos. I've seen no responses to any press conferences. I've seen nothing from the Air Force. You guys have released nothing. And yet integrity first, right? Integrity first. Unless it's us telling the people what needs to be said, right? Then it's, oh, it doesn't matter. Then we're going to lie, right? But it's integrity first, guys. Integrity first. Then service before self, right? Service before self. Service to who? Sorry for the rant, but I am fired up. I keep it kind of bottled up, but this is ridiculous. And my question to all these leaders, people out there, if this is true, which it looks like more and more, it looks like it is actually true, that this evidence exists and it's been covered up for decades. My question to the people that know, you guys that know, that have seen this information, it's supposed to be integrity first, guys. It's supposed to be integrity first. So my question is, who are you lying to and why? Why are you lying? Who told you to lie? Are you sure our government hasn't been compromised? Why are you lying? So you're lying to protect someone who openly lies. Does this make sense? If the government is lying and you are lying to protect this secret or these secrets, where is the integrity? Where is the integrity? I think it should be watched through, definitely, but for the sake of this video, I think the question and answers at the end just kind of sum everything up. Watch this.
It's going to have on the public, or for that matter, governmental policy going forward? I mean, because you mentioned here that you don't necessarily think it's a threat. You think it's more along the lines of this kind of reminder that nuclear weapons are dangerous, you guys are going to kill yourself, et cetera, et cetera. But the narrative that these guys are creating is pretty much unverifiable. It's coming from government sources, and the government is basically the one that's saying this is what is taking place. Does that concern you going forward?
Well, again, like I said originally, we're not trying to prove anything. This is not a scientific exercise or a mathematical proof demonstration or anything like that. What we are doing, and what all these witnesses who've had the courage to come forward are doing, is simply telling their stories. We have stated, yes, that the government has withheld secrets intentionally. And now I think the next question is, how will the Air Force answer, for example, what we've stated here today?
That's an amazing point. How's the Air Force going to answer? Because you know what? They haven't answered the last 4 conferences. And even this one, right? I was excited. I was really excited, actually, for this conference to come out. I was going to cover it, but it didn't work with the timing. I was traveling. And so I was waiting to hear it in the news. I was waiting to hear, oh, what happened in that report? What happened to that big media conference? I was expecting to see it, I don't know, in CNN. Kind of the same thing, where we've seen media representation of these events. And nothing, man. I couldn't find anything. And then I go to search. Search on YouTube, very difficult to find, right? So just finding this video is difficult. It's almost like it's on purpose being hidden, or at least it's definitely not being shared by anyone out there. And this is the question, what is going to be your response, Air Force? Well, you guys have been spending your time losing wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and then being surprised that you lost, right? What do you think was happening the last 10 years after we killed Osama bin Laden? You haven't been focusing on UAPs at all, right? We've just been pushing it under the rug, just gonna ignore this, doesn't exist. So what is gonna be your response, okay? Because you need to fucking respond. Air Force needs to respond to this. They need to respond. Somebody needs to respond from the Air Force and actually respond. Because the question is, where's your integrity, Air Force? Because you beat it into us. You beat it into us, man. Maybe we listened. But did you listen?
Hi, I'm Travis Tritton. I'm the Pentagon Bureau Chief for military.com. Thanks for doing this. You had mentioned the ODNI report from June, and of course the larger context here is the relatively newer witnesses and film evidence that we've gotten from the Navy, from the Nimitz in 2004, and then from the training areas in the Atlantic more recently. I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts or feelings about that. Do you feel like you've been ignored? And what do you think has been the change? Why do you think things are suddenly different and we have Washington taking this so seriously now? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I'll give it a try and then ask these other guys if they want to comment. Have we been ignored? Well, I've been speaking about this for about 25 years or more. So, yeah. This is the 5th time, at least the 5th time I've spoken at this venue on this very particular subject. The media took it seriously each time. They wrote columns, they wrote, and there was commentary written about it. And then they seemed to get lost. The subject seemed to kind of go away. The reason it's different this time and you put your finger on it, I think, is those videos released by the Navy through the help of, I think, Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon. We have to commend them for getting those released. And the Navy admitting, yeah, this something happened here we can't explain. And you heard from the pilots, right? So that's different. And also this statement that I quoted from the ODNI report stating that these probably represent real objects. So that's the first time I've ever heard a government official make a statement like that in my lifetime.
So this time does sound like it may be different. And I think it's going to be different because of YouTube. You know, Bob Salas, he's able to get this information out, right? I was able to find it through YouTube on his own YouTube channel. But if you look, you try and find it through mainstream media, I don't know. Can you find it? I saw there was one article from that military.com guy, I believe. And that's it, right? That's it. So in the past, I think you could just avoid it. You know, it's in the mainstream media. There's no real outlet to get this information out. But now we have YouTube, right? We have YouTube. And I think it's going to be a game changer. So now the information can be passed. It's information age, right, guys? So you're not going to be able to keep this information. You're just not going to be able to keep it. We're going to figure it out. Either you're going to tell us, or which I don't think is actually going to happen, or we're going to find it on our own, make our own systems, and then you'll just be forced to tell us, right? Because somehow you were able to warp this around that integrity first doesn't apply for you, right? It doesn't apply for you because you're in the position of power. You got into this position of power. What happens though when you leave the position of power is you realize you're just a normal person. You're just a regular person like everybody else. You're filling a certain role. So it's really the role that you're filling that feels like it needs to lie, right? You need to lie. And like we talked about, man, in this video, Schindel, he basically kept this secret for 40 years, didn't share it, and it tore him up inside, We let thousands and thousands of people think that they're crazy. This guy keeps this secret, right? At least get the information out. At least allow us to share the information. It's a vulnerability. Of course it's a vulnerability. But it doesn't change the fact. You close your eyes, the shark is still there, right? The shark is still there, guys. It's not going to change the fact. And it doesn't make you tougher. So you happen to know more than we do, so somehow you're able to keep that secret safe from us. It's not your right. It's not your right. So where's the integrity, Air Force? What happened? Here's the reality, Air Force leaders.
Shut up. We've been silenced. We've been ridiculed. We've had our lives disrupted. This is more than just being ignored. We've been treated like imbeciles. You'll notice, by the way, that we're all pretty old, which means that our testimony is going to go away in real time here. What I've discovered since I got old is that old people have a superpower. We're invisible. Nobody pays any attention to us. We're just old timers and old goats, and what do we know? What we've told you today, what you've heard from these three guys and from this old bird out here in the Ozarks, is that this is a real thing that's happening to us. I saw it with my own eyes on film that I was in charge of taking at Big Sur, California. That UFO knocked one of our dummy nuclear warheads out of space. It shot it down. To me, that looks like a shot across the bow from a superior force going, hey, knock it off. And for our government, for the U.S. Air Force part of our government, and in my case, to shut it up, to silence it, to tell me it never happened, to say, shut up, don't talk about it, indicates that our government is lying to us. Have they lied to us in the past? Well, let me see. Remember the Vietnam conflict? Remember Robert McNamara? Remember all that business about, peace with honor and all that crap that came out of our government? Robert McNamara, just a few years ago, came out and said, Vietnam was a mistake. We shouldn't have done it. We were lied to we're continuing to be lied to. I told you this is not about politics. I don't believe in politics when it comes to UFOs. You folks are all sitting there wearing masks and all that stuff. Well, is there a bug or is it not a bug? That isn't what this is about. This is about something that's more important than I can possibly explain to you. It's about the possibility of our survival. If these guys, if these things, if these creatures from wherever they are, or whatever time they are, or whatever place they are get mad at us enough, they can annihilate our entire species just like that. They have the technology and the power that we can't even imagine. Their science is to us magic. And yeah, I think we've probably been entitled to some of that information, but I'm telling you folks in the press, we need to get Congress to listen to us. We need to get the message out to people that, okay, we're old and invisible, but the facts that we're telling you are terribly, terribly important. Bob?
Yeah, so the people that have the information, if you have it, while you get richer, while the rich get richer, while the poor get poorer, while our society's kind of tearing at the seams, right? Maybe it's because we're not telling the fucking truth to our people. Did you ever think about this? You have organizations like the CIA. What real good has the CIA done for our country? Lying allows you to, in the short term, change the ballgame, right? You're not adhering to the facts. You're not adhering to the truth. But if it is a truth, it actually exists. The UAP phenomena actually exists. Then you are not protecting us from anything. You think you're protecting us from something, but really you're just allowing the lie to continue. And the longer a lie goes, what happens? It never gets better, right? Lies never get better over time. The longer the lie keeps going, guys, the worse it is going to be when it ends. Just like Afghanistan. You guys were surprised? You're surprised it was a train wreck? What about the last 10 years? Osama bin Laden was killed in 2011. Right, killed, right? We couldn't bring him to justice. Killed in 2011. So the last 10 years, what did you guys think was happening? Surprised. So you're going to be surprised again. Oh, the government's lying to us. I can't believe it. Actually, the government is lying to us. And they're making our people do it. Okay, they're making our people do it. I just remember, so these people spoke out. Okay, they did speak. Those security personnel, those security guards who are scared to speak, why? I mean, I understand why you're scared, but why does the pressure have to come from somewhere else to limit you? Why do you get ostracized? Pretty convenient, right, that you get ostracized. These people are isolated. People think they're crazy. And yet we trusted them with our nuclear weapons, right? So maybe we're crazy. And by the way, we trust them with our weapons designed to destroy the entire world. So we're definitely crazy. So when is the lie going to end? When is the lie going to end? How many more people have to die inside or die literally? Right? How many people have been killed to maintain this secret, if it is a secret? How many people have been killed? All right, guys. Fired up. Not going to let it go. We're not going to let it go. We're not going to let it go. We're not going to let it go. Not going to let it go.